Hello everyone. So for the past 3 to 4 years, AI is becoming very popular. I'm sure you have heard about AI or you are being interested in AI or maybe you are using AI for a lot of time. Okay, and after 3 to 4 years, okay, now we are trying to see some problems in AI. Okay, now as a investment channel, because this is the investment channel, so I am going to talk about problems in AI, mainly from the investment point of view, even though I am going to discuss technicality here as well, that from technology point of view what is the problem, but mainly my point of view would be from the finance point of view, from the investment point of view, that why AI is becoming a problem from a investment point of view. Okay, that why companies, AI related companies, are getting so much investment. Okay, why Nvidia has why the stocks of Nvidia has rising so much, and why people are investing in companies in Nvidia or in OpenAI or in Oracle, why people are investing in these kind of investments, and what is actually the problem. Okay, why this is a problem, why investing in these AI related companies is a problem. We are going to discuss that as well, mainly from the uh, from the investment point of view, but I will discuss hardware side as well, software side as well. I will discuss some technicality as well, but from the perspective of finance here. Okay, so let's start here, and let's start with the first question, that why people are investing in AI. Okay, I am going to keep it very simple, I am going to keep it concise, I am going to keep it simple, so that you can understand that what is actually the problem here. Okay, so let's say these are AI related companies. Okay, let's say these are AI related companies. Now there is some input, which is basically investment, and there is some output from the AI. That means some positive value that we are getting from AI here. Okay, there is some input and there is some output from the AI here. Okay, now what is the input? Input is basically investment. Investors are investing billions of dollars, okay, millions and millions, billions of dollars into these AI related companies. Okay, now why they are doing it? They are investing, and please listen to me very carefully, they are investing in AI related companies. Okay, this is basically your money. Okay, money is being poured into these AI related companies. Okay, why? So that they could be valuable. Okay, they can provide service, they can be useful for the individuals. For the individuals, no, not for the individuals. If investors are investing money in AI, they are not doing it for the purpose of so that it could be useful for the individuals, for the normal use, for the normal people here. No, even though it could be useful for the individuals, that is not the main point. It is being invested, the money is being invested into AI companies so that it could be useful for the companies, for the enterprise, so that other companies can use these AI products into their own workflow here. Okay, that is why money is being poured into this AI, because from here, because from enterprise you will get large scale revenues, you will get, your main customers are not individuals. When AI is being started, okay, then the tools of AI, then the services of AI will not provide revenue, will not generate revenue from the individuals, they will generate revenue from the enterprise. When the large scale companies are using this, when the large scale companies are using these AI products and they are paying back to AI companies, They are subscribing to AI companies, when enterprises are subscribing to AI companies, when they are using their tools, and they are providing uh, and they are generating a lot of revenue. That is, then this money would be justified, then a lot of millions and millions of dollars would be justified there, so that it could be useful for the enterprise. But the opposite is happening, that AI is being somewhat useful for the individuals, okay, but it is not very much useful for the enterprise. Okay, now that is brings to our problem, that this is not happening, this is not happening, it is not being useful for the enterprise here. Okay, this is not being useful for the enterprise, it is somewhat being useful for the individuals, but it is not useful for the enterprise. Why? Why that is happening, why it is not being useful for anyone? Okay, why it is not being useful for the enterprise here? So that brings us to two sides. Okay, hardware side, hardware side and software side. This is very important, software is very important, let's start with but first let's start with hardware side here. That what is the problem we are facing, that why AI companies, why the product related to AI, why the services related with AI are not being useful, much useful for the enterprise here. See, if you want to if you want your products to be useful for enterprise, then enterprise are working at a very large scale of data, they have a lot of requirements. Okay, they have very large scale of data to work on, they have a lot of operations to work on. In a single day, in a very single day, they are doing a lot of tasks, a lot of tasks are being needed to be performed. Okay, up until now these tasks are being performed by humans, but if you are trying to replace humans with AI, if you want AI to do majority of work which are being done by which are being done by enterprise, then you need a lot of computational power. Okay, even the computational power which is being provided at today's time, that is not sufficient. Even a lot of more computational power is needed than which is being available at today's time. Okay, now that brings us to the hardware side here. That in hardware side we are thinking, okay, we are investing in companies like Nvidia. If money is being invested in companies like Nvidia, oh, then Nvidia is a very large chip maker. So because we are investing money in Nvidia, so a lot of uh, that problem should be solved here. Hardware problem should be solved because we are investing in a company like Nvidia, and Nvidia is a chip maker. Wrong. Let me make one thing very clear, that Nvidia is not a chip maker. That let me make that thing very clear, that if you are thinking, oh, we invest a lot of money in Nvidia, Nvidia will make a lot of chips. Okay, that chips will train these AI models, and our problem would be solved here. Hardware side problem would be solved here. Okay, because in order to need a lot of computational power to because a lot of computational power is needed to train these AI models, to run these AI models, and because we are investing in Nvidia, and because Nvidia is a chip maker, so they will produce more chips, and our hardware side problem would be solved here. No, that is wrong assumption. Nvidia is a chip maker? No, Nvidia is not a chip maker. Nvidia is a chip designer. Please let me make one thing very clear, that Nvidia is not a chip maker, Nvidia is a chip designer here. Okay, who make the chip for Nvidia? Not only for Nvidia, any other companies, Apple, okay, all the companies buy chips for Nvidia. Even any company that you can imagine, they buy chips for Nvidia. Apple doesn't buy chips for Nvidia, but even for Apple, even for anyone, almost you can say 90% of chips, 90% of all chips are designed by who? 90% of all the chips are designed by this single company. There is this single company which designed 90% of all the chips, TSMC. So this is a Taiwan based company, and this design basically 90% of all the chips that are being generated in the entire world. Okay, and if you know a little bit about geopolitics, then China is being there is a possibility that China will invade Taiwan. Okay, if that will happen, then TSMC has said itself that they will not be able to produce these chips here. Okay, their entire workflow would be halted. Okay, they would not be able to make chips anymore, because when if China will invade Taiwan here. Okay, and they are trying to shift their chip factory to Texas, but that will take 10 years, because this is a very this chip making process, this chip making process is a very complex process. Okay, you need a lot of expertise, you need a lot of precision when you are making these kind of chips. A lot of accuracy is needed, a lot. This is a very complex process. It is not like car assembly. Okay, not just like car assembly that you can set up a new factory in a new country. No, chip making is a very different process as comparison to cars and other kind of manufacturing. Okay, so this chip manufacturing cannot be shifted as easily from Taiwan to Texas or Taiwan to USA or any other country. No, that is not very simple. Okay, so this is basically today's AI bubble is occurring. Okay, forget the software side. If today's AI bubble is occurring, okay, today's AI bubble is occurring because of this problem, that a lot of money is being poured into AI, into Nvidia, into OpenAI, that Nvidia will develop hardware, OpenAI would develop software, and uh, and AI would be useful for enterprise, but that is not happening because of hardware. Only because of hardware. I didn't even come to software yet. Okay, only because of hardware, that people are investing in Nvidia, thinking that they will make more chip. No, Nvidia can't make chip. Nvidia can only design chip. They will give their order to TSMC, and TSMC is the one who will design the sorry, TSMC will be the one who will produce the actual chips. Okay, and if something will happen to TSMC, then you can say the chips are gone, and if chips are gone, AI is gone. Okay, this is something which is called bottleneck problem. Okay, bottleneck problem is basically you are pouring a lot of money thinking that something is happening, but in reality there is a bottleneck. Bottleneck means there is a very small company which is on which everything is holding. Okay, you are thinking that you are investing in Nvidia. Nvidia is a large company, they have large revenues, they have large they have large assets, but they are not the one who are producing. The producing company is TSMC, and TSMC is a small company. Okay, it is a very vulnerable company. If something will happen to Taiwan, TSMC will not be able to produce chips, and if chips are gone, AI is gone. Okay, that is the main problem why today's AI is a bubble. If AI is a bubble today, it is because that a single company, a relatively small company, TSMC, is producing all the chips of the world. Okay, now even if this problem is solved, okay, this is hardware side of problem, that if you want to solve enterprise problems of enterprise, a lot of computational power is needed. And in order to get a lot of computational powers, these AI models need to be trained and need to run on a lot of chips. Chips are the computational power. Okay, that a lot of chips are needed. Now people are invest. That is why people are investing in Nvidia, thinking that Nvidia is a chip maker. But Nvidia is not a chip maker. Nvidia is a chip designer. Nvidia give orders to TSMC. TSMC is the one who is a chip maker, and because they can't produce a lot of chips, and if they are not able to produce a lot of chips, and if for some reason the process is halted, then all of this AI bubble will burst. Okay, that is the main. That is why today's AI is a bubble. Okay. Now let's say this problem is solved. I am assuming, even though this is nearly impossible, TSMC has said itself that if they shifted from Taiwan to anywhere else, then this process would not be possible because of expertise of workers, because of precision, because of accuracy. But for, let's say, one reason this problem is solved, let's say they shifted their factory someplace else, or they are able to resolve it one way or another. Let's say that supply of chips are being met, even though it is nearly impossible, but let's assume that supply of chips are being met, even though that problem is solved. Okay, let's say still the core problem still resides. Okay, the core problem still resides here, which is on the software side here. Okay, now what is the software side of problem that I want to talk about today? See, what is AI? What are AI models? AI models are basically LLM. Now what is LLM? LLM stands for large language models. Okay, now these large language models, what is the problem with these large language models? They are not intelligent. They are not intelligent. Why they are not intelligent? What is the, okay, what is the definition of intelligence? See, definition of intelligence is ability to learn new things, ability to learn new, you can say ability to learn new knowledge and then implement it. So there is basically a learning part, okay, and there is implementation part. That is basically full intelligence. If you want to talk about human intelligence, if you want to talk about proper intelligence, then proper intelligence includes two things: learn new knowledge and implement it. Now LLM is very good, or you can say perfectly good, at implementing it. Okay, see, LLM are large language models. Okay, LLM are large language models, and they are trained once on a very large data set, and whatever data set on which they are learned, they are able to implement it properly. No doubt in it. There is no second doubt, second thought, there is no doubt in it. Okay, but they are very bad at this. They are not able to learn new knowledge. Okay, they are not able to learn new knowledge. Who can learn the new knowledge? Okay, if you want to learn the new knowledge, then that is something which is done by AGI. Okay, let me write it here. That is something being done by AGI. Okay, AGI is something, AGI stands for artificial general intelligence. Okay, they can learn new things and they can also implement it. See, today's AI is basically large language models. They are able to implement it, but they are not able to learn new knowledge here. Okay, and in order for, if you want to work with enterprise, okay, if you want to work with enterprise, then understanding the workflow of enterprise, okay, understanding what company wants, that is very important. Okay, and that is what today's LLM are not able to do properly. Why? Because today's LLM works on tokens. Okay, So what is basically token? Token is basically, you can say, the building block of AI. Okay, it is the most fundamental unit of AI here. Okay, and now what is basically token? See, whenever a large language model is being trained for the first time on a large amount of data, then every word, every pixel, every uh, piece of knowledge, okay, every single piece of information is being connected with a token. Okay, so for example, if you are saying uh, hello, my name is Abhinav. Okay, then hello is a token, my is a token, name is a token, Abhinav is a token. Okay, so basically every word, every single unit of knowledge is being assigned, okay, to a value, and that entire thing is basically a token. Okay, now today's large language model works on token prediction. Today's large language model works on token prediction here. Now what do I mean by token prediction? See, if a company is saying solve this problem for me, okay, if a company is saying to large language model solve this problem for me, then large language models are not understanding the problem. Okay, they are not trying to understand the problem, they are simply whatever information they have available, whatever the past examples they have available in their tokens, in their model, okay, based on that they are predicting the solution. Okay, they are not just like humans, unlike humans, that first humans understand the problem and then they try to solve the problem, whether that has happened in the past or not. Okay, but if something didn't happen in the past, then LLM are very bad. And even if that has happened in the past, okay, that doesn't necessarily means that LLM has knowledge regarding it. That doesn't mean LLM has already trained on it. Okay, so the point I am trying to make, that LLM are not trying to understand the problem, they are only trying to predict the solution. Okay, they are only trying to predict the solution based on whatever past information they have available yet. Okay, this is the software side of problem we still have to solve. Even if we solve this hardware side of problem, this software side of problem is the main problem. This is why AI is not scalable. AI is not scalable. Why? Why AI is not scalable? AI is not scalable because that our today's working of AI is very different from what is needed here. Okay, that we are investing a lot of money into these chips, into buying these chips, into making these chips and training these large language models. But these large language models are only training on some data. Okay, not all the data of a particular enterprise. Every enterprise have their own data. Okay, and many times enterprise are not even comfortable sharing their own data. Okay, and unless the LLM will have their own data, they will not be able to do the prediction. And even if they are able to do prediction, that is a wrong way to solve something. Okay, if an enterprise is giving a problem to LLM, okay, they should be able to understand the problem rather than just breaking it down into tokens and then doing prediction of the solution. They shouldn't predict the solution, they should try to solve the problem itself. Okay, and that is why AGI is needed here. Okay, now this was the technical part of this, which you should know about as well. Okay, many people focus only on the hardware side here, that there are chips, there are data centers, money is investing into chips, money are being invested into data centers, but there is whole new space that is yet to be solved here. Okay, we still have to solve AGI, we still have to AI is still not learning new knowledge properly. Okay, when AI will be able to learn new knowledge and then implement it, only then the software side as well as the hardware side would be solved here. Okay, only then it would be beneficial for enterprise. Today it is beneficial for individuals, it is increasing the productivity of individuals, for creators. Even me myself has used AI in my videos as well. Okay, so it is useful for me as an individual, it is useful for the content creators, it is useful for the employees. it could be useful for the employees as well, okay, for improving their productivity. But for AI to work at a enterprise level, that is a problem. Why? Because see, the problem faced by individuals, okay, are could be generalized, still could be generalized. That is why we think AI is very good. But the problems of enterprise are very different, okay, and for that solving the hardware side and software side both are very important, okay. So this is, according to me, is the big problem. If AI want to survive the initial phase, this is the initial phase of AI which is being going on. If AI want to survive this initial space, then they need to cater the enterprise, because that is from where they can justify this investment, okay, rather than individuals. Then they can move on to individuals as well, okay. But first they need to solve the problem for enterprise, and in order to solve enterprise problem, they need to work on both of these things. That is the problem of AI. Thank you very much for watching.